edition of the news on Canal de English with me, Christelle Katala. We begin with the major stories. The 2016 Finance Bill has been adopted by the Senate today. The over 4 billion francs budget went through over 8 hours of scrutiny will be used on infrastructure. An academic and professional orientation fair for Cameroonians to Canada is scheduled for next March. The announcement was made by the Canadian High Commissioner to Cameroon. And out of the country, China's richest man, Guo Gangchang, is reported missing. Those were the major stories, the details right ahead. A suicide bomb attack in Kolofata early this morning has killed 8 people and left 22 others seriously injured. The attack occurred at 6 a.m. One of the suicides detonated an explosive, while the other second is said to be at large. The 2016 Finance Bill has been adopted by the Senate today. The over 4 billion budget went through 8 hours of scrutiny will be used on infrastructure, the promotion of business climate, and the growth in general. An academic and professional orientation fair for Cameroonians to Canada is scheduled for next March. Announcement was made by Canadian High Commissioner to Cameroon during the launch of the Canada-Cameroon Network. Details with Beatrice Ngamu.
Is famous for her know-how in basketball and BlackBerry technology. Here in Africa, Cameroon is the second country after Nigeria to send students to study in Canada. This presence notwithstanding, the Canadian High Commissioner to Cameroon, His Excellency René Cremonese, explains very little of his country's assets is known here in Cameroon and exploited, especially in the business milieu. The Canadian Cameroon Network is therefore a veritable exchange platform instituted for Cameroonians entrepreneurs and companies with projects on the horizon.
It's a group that's going to, I think, be very useful and help us in trying to promote greater commercial relationships, investment, business ties between Canada and Cameroon. They'll be organizing a commercial mission to Canada for the spring, and we also have other actors from Canada who will be bringing commercial missions here in February and also in January of 2016.
The Canal network, as it is coined, was officially made public Thursday at the Canadian High Commission here in Yaoundé. It will also include an international academic and professional orientation fair in the month of March 2016 with information and registration for students who wish to study in Canada. Canada intends to support Cameroon also in mining and energy development.
Small and medium-sized enterprises have been told to embrace the social responsibility concept, which ties to do with boosting the morale of workers and increase output and revenues. Details with D. Maureen.
Not up to 10% of workers in Cameroon are affiliated to the social insurance scheme. This is one of the social responsibilities of companies, but who seem to have ignored this very important task. Workers' rights not respected, environment polluted, taxes not paid.
Concern the small and enterprises is that when the small and enterprises practice this in the enterprise, their employees can work harder to bring profit to the enterprise. That's one reason concerning the small and enterprises, and this can help them to provide to buyers good products.
The Subcontracting and Partnership Exchange of Cameroon is conscious of these economic consequences. This meeting is aimed at bringing enterprises, especially small and medium-sized enterprises, to apply the concept. And if a company is conscious of its social responsibilities, it will respect the environment and apply laws that guarantees the security of persons.
Today, the small and enterprises don't practice this. So our role today is to encourage them to try to implement this innovation concerning RSE in their enterprises, and so that they can be confident to them. The big entrepreneurs can be confident to them and give them more job.
Small and medium-sized enterprises, if apply these measures, might certainly achieve more by subcontracting with bigger companies.
The government has announced the repressive phase of identification of SIM cards to begin on the 21st of December 2015. Mobile phones operation will not pay compile paying huge fees. The relaunch of SIM cards identification process complains of threat of individuals through identified mobile phones. Maureen once more.
The government of Cameroon is again on the offensive to ensure that mobile telephone subscribers are duly identified as part of strategies to combat insecurity. This comes as a response to an upsurge in phone scam and abuse of phone privacy.
Or selling unidentified SIM card represents a danger for individual security, national security, even international security. Because as you know, with roaming now, you can use SIM card both in Cameroon, even abroad.
This same operation was launched 3 years ago, but fell short due to laissez-faire from mobile phone operators who talk of several difficulties.
The issue of identification is a very complex one. We are engaged in a huge process to identify all our customers. But we are facing also an informal market and issues that are very difficult for a single operator to handle.
The first responsible is the operator, is the owner of the SIM card, and is the one who is able to activate the SIM card, because without activation you cannot use your SIM card.
The meeting that brought together Telecommunication Regulatory Board experts, mobile phone operators and administration on the same table this December 10 enabled them to re-examine the SIM card identification process.
From the 21st of December, we are going to start a control, a repressive control. In addition of that, you know that most of the people used to buy even 1,000 SIM cards in order to resell.
Going by the recent Prime Ministerial order, retailers of mobile telephone services in the country can no longer sell or identify subscribers on the streets.
Bringing back integrity in the media sphere in Cameroon is a heavy task assigned to appointed Peter Itsoka as the new president of the National Communication Council and his vice Obuno Norton by Prime Minister Yang Philemon. Details with Carol Kemaju.
Answer present. Just like an oath to take the National Communication Council to the next level. Appointed November 27th by a presidential decree, these are the new leaders of the communication. Their mission, revamp the media profession.
To try to establish order in the media, especially regarding ethics and deontology. And the 9 members of that council are determined that that shall happen. We may not succeed in all, but we shall do the best we can to put this in the forefront and our focus.
Acting President after the death of Monsignor Joseph Befeu-Ateba, Peter Itsoka is today given full-fledged power. Obono Voto, today Vice President of the NCC, is used to deal with media men and women. He comes from the Ministry of Communication. Prime Minister Philemon Yang used the instance of this installation ceremony to express a will that the media field in Cameroon be responsible, fair, accurate and play their role as watchdogs of the society. Well understood, Mr. Prime Minister.
We shall encourage all kinds of dialogue with media men and women so that we can work in synergy to better the situation and to bring back integrity to the press or the media in general.
Created in 2012 with a mission to clear up the media sector in Cameroon, a new page is today turned at the National Communication Council. Awaited actions to prove.
How to enable the population of the forest areas to benefit from the exploitation of the resources in the same light, sustain the forest reserve to preserve the environment, preoccupations leading to the launch this December of a project named Dryad for the empowerment of community forests. Details with Carol Kemaju.
I am a native of the forest region in Cameroon, but excluded in the redistribution of returns from forest exploitation. The grief of most local populations in forest area has found solution in the name of community forest enterprises.
It means that with them, we are going to develop a business plan. If they are interested in planting trees, we empower them with the technique of nursery. Now, if they want to do timber exploitation, we will give them adequate material.
Dryad, which means gods of the forest, is the new project that will help the forest preserve the environment and enable local population live rich.
And now we take the note, a second phase of the health campaign, better known in French acronym as SASNIM, kicked off today. Less than 5 and nursing mothers will receive vaccines and supplements free of charge. For this means, the government intends to ameliorate the health of mothers and children. And out of the country, 3 years after the death of the traditional head, the people of Minkwele now have a new chief. Theophile Eju has been installed as the head of the village with 3 hamlets by the Dio Biwongbulu. Details with Beatrice Ngamu.
Minkwele, 1 village, 3 hamlets. Situated in the district of Biwongbulu, Villa Division of the South region of Cameroon. This village has been an orphan for about 3 years now, since the disappearance of late Chief José Ada after 40 years of reign. As is the custom of the 3 hamlets, since the period of German rule, the new chief of Minkwele is named by the different families and proposed to administration. The divisional officer of the area here installed Theophile Eju as the 5th in the Edo Ajomo dynasty, a 3rd-class chief, strategic in this Bulu Cosmogony. This with the assignment
to maintain peace and order within his village. The other recommendation is to ensure that social justice is done, that land matters are settled without taking into consideration who is who, without partiality.
Concerning security in the area, the new chief was instructed
to ensure that he creates a vigilante group within his village, especially at this period where our country is being pushed to the wall by acts of insecurity by the sect Boko Haram. This vigilante group is going to help him, to give him information which can enable him take previsionary actions well ahead of time, and also to inform we, the administrative authorities of the subdivision, at any point in time that there is need.
The 59-year-old chief is married with 5 children. He has the mission now to integrate his experience as retired rural engineer at the service of his people.
And out of the country, one of China's richest men, Guo Guangchang, described as country's equivalent to Warren Buffett, is reported to be missing. This note brings us to the end of this newscast. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.